Salmon is a fish with high economic and nutritional value, mainly exploited in cold waters of North America, Europe and some coastal areas of the Pacific Ocean. The way to catch salmon depends on the habitat and migration time of this fish species. During the spawning season, salmon swim upstream from the sea into rivers to lay eggs, creating favorable opportunities for fishing. Fishermen often use nets across the river or set traps to catch fish when they swim upstream. In addition, fishing boats at sea are also equipped with modern technology such as sonar, purse seine or trawl to catch salmon when they are still in the deep sea. For controlled fishing areas, this process is closely monitored to protect salmon populations and avoid overexploitation. In some places, people also fish with specialized fishing rods in sport fishing tours, contributing to the development of ecotourism. Salmon fishing not only requires techniques but also knowledge of weather, water currents, and fish behavior to achieve high efficiency and ensure sustainability for this valuable aquatic resource. In addition to traditional methods, some areas now apply advanced technology to improve the efficiency of salmon fishing while still protecting the ecological environment. For example, fish-mounted tracking devices or satellite positioning systems help fishermen accurately determine the migration path of salmon, thereby choosing the appropriate time and location to fish. Some places also implement selective fishing systems, allowing the release of fish that do not meet size standards or belong to groups that need conservation. These efforts not only help maintain long-term resources but also demonstrate a sense of responsibility towards natural resources. In addition, a growing trend is to raise salmon in artificial environments, helping to reduce exploitation pressure from nature. However, wild salmon fishing still plays an important role, especially in regions with long-standing traditions such as Alaska, Norway or Canada. Here, fishing activities not only serve economic purposes but are also closely linked to the cultural life. Customs and identity of local communities. Therefore, the combination of conservation, science and tradition is becoming a sustainable direction in modern salmon exploitation. It is impossible not to mention the time factor in salmon fishing. Because the migration and spawning season of this fish species takes place in a certain cycle, usually from late spring to early autumn. Determining the exact time when salmon start swimming upstream is a key factor in determining the success of a fishing trip. Fishermen often rely on many years of experience combined with forecasts from fisheries research centers to prepare fishing gear, boats and labor force. During the fishing process, fishermen also need to strictly comply with legal regulations on quotas, species and sizes of fish, avoiding overfishing that affects the ecosystem. In developed countries, salmon fishing is managed by authorities through licensing and periodic inspections, while encouraging fishermen to apply environmentally friendly methods such as using nets with appropriate mesh sizes to avoid catching other species by mistake. It can be seen that modern salmon fishing is no longer simply a livelihood activity, but has become an industry that requires a combination of traditional knowledge, scientific progress and awareness of nature protection. That is also the reason why salmon still holds an important position in the global seafood economy and is a symbol of harmony between humans and nature in addition to technical and environmental aspects. Salmon fishing is also closely related to socio-economic factors. In many coastal areas, especially in countries such as Norway, the US and Japan, salmon is not only the main source of income for fishermen but also a strategic export item that brings in billions of dollars each year. The process of catching, Processing and transporting salmon requires strict cold chain assurance to maintain the freshness and highest nutritional value, serving the consumption needs of both domestic and international markets. In addition, many localities have combined salmon fishing with the development of experiential tourism. Allowing visitors to participate in offshore trips, learn about traditional fishing processes and enjoy dishes made from salmon on the spot. This not only helps increase income for the fishing community but also contributes to promoting regional culture and raising awareness of protecting marine resources in the community. However, for the salmon fishing industry to develop sustainably, there needs to be close coordination between the government, scientists, businesses and people in developing reasonable exploitation strategies, investing in modern preservation and processing technology, and promoting community education on protecting the marine ecological environment. Thereby, salmon fishing is not only a traditional occupation, but also a symbol of harmonious development between economy, culture and nature. In the future, salmon fishing is expected to change a lot to adapt to climate change and increasing market demand. Rising sea temperatures. Changes in currents and natural habitats are directly affecting the migration habits as well as the number of salmon in the wild. This poses an urgent requirement for managers and fishermen to closely monitor the biological fluctuations of this fish species and quickly adjust their exploitation strategies accordingly. Many countries have invested in research programs on salmon ecology, applying artificial intelligence, AI, big data and smart sensors to predict migration seasons, monitor fish stocks and provide early warning of risk factors such as water pollution or disease. These innovations not only help protect precious resources but also pave the way for a smart, efficient and environmentally friendly salmon industry. At the same time, raising international awareness of the importance of salmon in the food chain and marine ecosystem is also a key factor in maintaining the natural balance. If humans know how to exploit scientifically, control fishing activities well and effectively combine tradition with modern technology, salmon will not only continue to be a valuable food source, but also a symbol of sustainable development and responsibility to nature of mankind in the 21st century. In addition, education and raising public awareness about the role of salmon in the ecosystem and the economy is an indispensable part of the strategy for sustainable development of the fishing industry. In many developed countries, from schools to research and conservation centers, practical experience programs, seminars and communication campaigns are organized to help people, especially the younger generation, better understand the life cycle of salmon, the challenges this fish species is facing and the role of humans in protecting them. Some NGOs also work with fishing communities to build a model of resource co-management, in which the people themselves are the pioneers in monitoring, reporting and controlling illegal fishing activities. The fact that salmon has become a cultural and ecological symbol lies not only in its nutritional or economic value but also in the traditional festivals, folk tales, arts and spiritual life of many coastal riverine communities. Conservation efforts and responsible fishing also help maintain a strong connection between people and nature, between the present, the past and the future. Therefore, it can be affirmed that the way salmon is caught today is no longer a single activity but an important link in the global chain of actions towards sustainable development goals. in which people are not only exploiters but also guardians of ocean life from a global perspective. Salmon is not only a seafood product but also an ecological indicator of the health of freshwater and marine ecosystems. The presence and number of salmon in the wild is a measure of the cleanliness of water sources, the balance of the food chain, and the level of human impact on natural habitats. Therefore, protecting wild salmon resources also means protecting the rivers, streams, watersheds, and coastal waters where salmon live and breed. In some countries, especially in Northern Europe and North America, salmon have also motivated legislators to enact strict policies on environmental protection. Restoring mangrove forests, preventing water pollution, and building structures to help salmon pass hydroelectric dams to continue their migration. These practical actions not only benefit salmon but also a wide range of other species and humans. When the habitat is maintained in a balanced, sustainable state, ultimately, it can be seen that salmon fishing, if done properly, is not simply a resource exploitation activity but also a manifestation of harmony between humans and nature. It is a testament to the progressive awareness of humanity when knowing how to put the long-term interests and lives of all species above short-term profit goals. Thanks to that, salmon is not only a delicious dish but also part of a global story of responsibility, sharing and vision towards a sustainable future. Not stopping there, advances in biotechnology and the environment are also opening up new approaches to supporting and improving the efficiency of salmon fishing as well as conservation. Several research institutes have succeeded in developing salmon strains that are more adaptable to changing environmental conditions, helping to reduce mortality in the wild and increase productivity in aquaculture. At the same time, biotechnology also helps to monitor the health of salmon populations using physiological indicators, thereby predicting early outbreaks or population declines so that timely interventions can be made. In addition, some fishing with recovery models have been tested, in which fishermen are only allowed to exploit areas where wild salmon are recovering well, while areas at risk of decline will be temporarily closed and the breeding stock will be restored. This approach demonstrates flexible thinking, combining economic interests with ecological responsibility, thereby improving long-term efficiency. In many areas, salmon fishing is even combined with sustainable tourism education, in which visitors can experience the life of fishermen and participate in salmon protection programs such as releasing baby fish into the river. Cleaning up waste along streams or planting trees to protect river banks. All of these have contributed to shaping a new development mindset, one that sees resources not as something to be exploited, but as a gift to be preserved, shared and cherished through many generations. Salmon, with their miraculous migration journey and great ecological role, will forever be a living symbol of the connection between humans and nature, a connection that, if preserved, we will benefit from for hundreds of years to come. From the above analysis, it can be seen that salmon fishing is no longer a simple process of traditional exploitation, but has become a field of profound scientific, cultural and ethical significance. The fact that people today care about the origin of food, the living conditions of wild animals, and the transparency and sustainability of natural resource exploitation shows a great step forward in social awareness. Salmon, the iconic migratory fish, not only represents the resilience of nature, but also reminds people of the close connection between our behavior and the global ecosystem. Each salmon that travels thousands of kilometers to return to its birthplace is a living testament to the miraculous biological balance of nature, and also a reminder of the responsibility of humans to preserve those life cycles without interruption. If salmon fisheries continue to be organized in a sustainable way, closely combining science, tradition and community, not only salmon but also the rivers, forests and oceans where they exist will be protected and developed. That is the right path to maintain human livelihoods while preserving the natural world for a healthier, more harmonious and beautiful future. In a comprehensive way, salmon is not only a valuable food source, but also a point of intersection between culture, economics, ecology and science. Salmon fishing clearly reflects the way humans treat nature, either to destroy or to coexist and develop sustainably. In the context of the world facing serious challenges such as climate change, biodiversity loss and environmental pollution, salmon has become a symbol of hope, that if we know how to adjust our behavior, we can still reverse the negative impacts and restore the broken balance. The image of schools of salmon swimming upstream through rapids is not only a fascinating natural phenomenon, but also a profound lesson about resilience, solidarity and the desire to return to the source, something that modern people are also yearning for in their journey to find a connection with the earth. Therefore, maintaining a reasonable and sustainable salmon fishing activity is not only protecting a species of fish, but also protecting a part of the soul of nature, preserving the harmonious relationship between humans and the living environment. It is an act not only for today, but also for future generations, those who will continue to live on this planet, where salmon can still swim upstream, and nature still calls for life along with the application of technical and scientific measures. Enhancing international cooperation also plays an important role in the management and conservation of global salmon resources. Since salmon are transboundary migratory species, countries with seas and rivers where salmon live need to closely coordinate in developing common regulations on fishing, environmental protection and sharing research information. International organizations and multilateral agreements have been established to promote this cooperation, while facilitating the exchange of technology, experience and financial resources for the sustainable development of the salmon fishing industry. In addition, improving the capacity of fishing communities through training, technical assistance and access to capital is also a key factor in helping them to change traditional fishing methods to more environmentally friendly and efficient methods. This not only protects valuable salmon resources but also improves the lives and creates stable income for coastal and riverine people. This helps to reduce overexploitation, conflicts of interest and supports sustainable socio-economic development for these areas. Thus, salmon fishing is not only an economic activity, but also a bridge for cooperation and sustainable development between countries and communities on a global scale. Another important aspect of salmon fishing is the application of responsible fishing methods to minimize negative impacts on the environment and other living species. For example, the use of nets with appropriate mesh sizes helps to avoid catching other fish species or undersized salmon, thereby contributing to the conservation of fish populations and biodiversity. Fishing techniques such as handlines, lines and purse seines can be adapted to minimize the destruction of the aquatic environment. especially in sensitive areas such as salmon spawning grounds. In addition, managing fishing time and areas is also very important so as not to disrupt the natural spawning cycle of salmon. Many countries have established closed fishing seasons or fisheries reserves to create conditions for salmon to develop stably and recover resources. These measures not only help maintain sustainable fish resources but also ensure that fishing activities always take place within the legal framework and are responsible to the community. It is thanks to the coordination between science, management and awareness of fishermen that salmon fishing activities can be maintained in the long term, contributing to environmental protection, economic development and preserving the unique traditional cultural values of many coastal ethnic groups. At the same time, the application of technology in monitoring and managing salmon fishing is becoming increasingly popular and effective. Automated monitoring systems, underwater cameras, environmental sensors and GPS devices help regulators and fishermen accurately track fishing activities, ensure regulatory compliance and promptly detect illegal fishing. This technology also assists in the collection of ecological data, which can be used to analyze trends in salmon populations and assess the impact of environmental factors such as water temperature, water quality and pollution levels. Through digital applications, information is quickly transmitted to stakeholders. Helping to improve coordination in resource protection and management. Furthermore, the digitalization of fishing processes also helps to increase transparency, facilitating the traceability of salmon from harvest to consumer. This not only increases customer confidence but also contributes to enhancing brand value and developing a sustainable seafood market. Thus, technology is not only a supporting tool but also a driving factor for the comprehensive development of the salmon fishing industry in the new era. In addition to technical and management advances, the development of sustainable salmon supply chains is also key to enhancing value and ensuring long-term resources. From capture, storage, transportation to processing and distribution, each step needs to be strictly controlled to maintain product quality and minimize waste. The application of international standards on traceability, food safety and environmental protection helps consumers feel more secure when choosing salmon. While creating a competitive advantage in the global market. In addition, many businesses have aimed to cooperate closely with fishing communities, supporting them to improve working conditions and apply sustainable fishing techniques.